Hey everyone, hello. As always, I hope this video finds you in good health and in good spirits. So today's video is on one of the most controversial topics of the 20th century, Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan. Some see LaVey as a showman, others as a revolutionary philosopher, and many as a dangerous provocateur. But who was Anton LaVey really? What did the Church of Satan teach? And why did it attract celebrities, artists, and the curious elite? Anton Szandor LaVey was born Howard Stanton LaVey in 1930 in Chicago, Illinois, and he later moved to San Francisco. LaVey was fascinated with the occult, carnival life, and psychology. Before founding the church, he worked as a circus organist, then as a police photographer, and also as a nightclub musician. But his big turning point came in 1966, when he shaved his head and declared it the year 1, Anno Satanas, and founded the Church of Satan in San Francisco. He presented himself as part philosopher, part occultist, and part showman. His black cape, shaved head, and his pet lion named Togar became iconic symbols of his dark persona. And contrary to popular belief, the Church of Satan doesn't actually worship the devil as a literal being. Instead, LaVey's philosophy is more atheistic and symbolic. LaVey explained, "We don't worship Satan, we worship ourselves," using Satan as a symbol of pride, liberty, and individualism. Some of the core elements of LaVeyan Satanism, the 9 satanic statements that were published in the Satanic Bible in 1969. Some examples. Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Rejection of guilt and sin. LaVey argued that concepts like sin were invented to control people. Instead, he taught that desire is natural and indulgence is healthy, as long as it does no harm to the unwilling. The atheistic worldview. LaVey denied the existence of God, Satan, angels, or demons. The rituals were psychodramas, tools to unleash suppressed emotions. Do unto others as they do unto you. Instead of Christian forgiveness, LaVey emphasized justice and self-preservation. In short, it was a religion for the rebellious individualist, cloaked in Gothic theater. And while the Church of Satan did hold rituals like the famous Black Mass, they were often theatrical, meant to shock the public and release psychological tension rather than summon literal demons, although that's been debated. LaVey explained it's kind of a ritualized psychodrama where members could express desires and frustrations in a ceremonial way. The headquarters of the church was known as the Black House, located in San Francisco. It was a Victorian-styled home painted entirely black, filled with occult symbols, ritual chambers, and exotic pets. The Black House in San Francisco was the church's headquarters, painted again entirely black with dim lighting, ritual chambers, and LaVey's pet lion Tagore roaming the halls. It became infamous in the press. The rituals there were as much performance art as spirituality. The Black Mass was a parody of Catholic Mass, often featuring inverted crosses, mock prayers, and dramatic invocations of Satan. It was less about devil worship and more about mocking organized religion and liberating the psyche from guilt. The Satanic baptism. LaVey even baptized his own daughter, Xena, in 1967 in a public satanic baptism, shocking the media. The ritual involved black robes, candles, and affirmations of indulgence and power. He even had the satanic funeral, which was another dramatic ritual LaVey offered, emphasizing the celebration of life and vengeance rather than mourning. LaVey described rituals as emotional theater designed to purge repressions and strengthen the self. This mix of spectacle and philosophy made the Church of Satan irresistible to curious outsiders. This house became a hotbed of counterculture during the late 1960s and the early 1970s. Reporters, curious seekers, and celebrities all passed through its doors. LaVey understood the power of publicity, and he drew many high-profile figures to his circle, like Sammy Davis Jr., the Rat Pack singer who was also an actor. He dabbled with the Church of Satan in the late 1960s, fascinated by the counterculture stance. And also Jane Mansfield, the blonde bombshell actress, was rumored to have been close to LaVey, though much of this was fueled by tabloid speculation. Also, Marilyn Manson. Though later than LaVey's prime, Manson was named an honorary priest in the Church of Satan in the 1990s. And then King Diamond, the heavy metal musician, also aligned himself with LaVeyan Satanism. LaVey courted these connections intentionally, understanding that celebrity endorsements made his church both notorious and appealing. The Church of Satan stirred outrage from religious groups who believed it was literally Satan worship. Critics accused LaVey of being a charlatan, a cult leader, or con artist, pointing out his flair for theatrics and self-promotion. Yet others saw him as a kind of cultural rebel, someone who challenged the hypocrisy of mainstream religion and morality. His 1969 book, The Satanic Bible, became a bestseller and remains one of the most influential texts in modern occultism. It outlines his philosophy in simple, provocative terms, and it continues to attract readers worldwide. And Anton LaVey died in 1997, but the Church of Satan still exists today, headquartered in New York under new leadership. His influence can be seen in a lot of different places, like pop culture and music. Heavy metal, goth, shock rock often borrowed satanic imagery that were inspired by LaVey. And modern atheistic movements. Some aspects of LaVeyan Satanism overlap with secular humanism and rational self-interest. And pop culture, rather cultural impact. We already went over the pop culture. Even people who don't agree with his teachings acknowledge that LaVey helped shape the image of Satan in modern times, not as a literal devil, but as a symbol of rebellion. Anton LaVey was equal parts philosopher, performer, and provocateur. His Church of Satan was less about worshiping evil and more about embracing the darker side of human nature without guilt or shame. My apologies on the delay. I'm using a voiceover and you can't go back and erase. But there was something that makes you go, that I wanted to add on. There was a Christian pastor named Dave Bryan, and he claims to have engaged in spiritual confrontation with the Church of Satan's founder, Anton LaVey. According to Bryan, this spiritual battle resulted in LaVey's death and the deliverance of LaVey's daughter from the church. And this narrative is a central part of Bryan's ministry on spiritual warfare, but it's been denied by the Church of Satan. So it's definitely something that makes you go, Whether you see him as a genius, a fraud, or simply a man who understood the powers of symbols, there's no denying his impact on American counterculture. So the next time you hear the name Satan in popular culture, remember, it might not mean a red devil with horns, but rather a philosophy of defiance born in San Francisco in 1966. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan, be sure to hit the like button, follow my channel, leave a comment, and share it with someone else who's like-minded. All right, everyone, take care. Peace.